Welcome back, everyone. I'm JTXRP, and today we're back with Duncan Glendinning from Treasury. And I've asked him to come on, and we wanted to create this video to talk about Timmy, which is I believe the mascot of Treasury. And Timmy's going through his journey here, and I wanted to have him on to talk about his NFTs as well as kind of what the utility is. And apparently, we're gonna have some news at the end. So stick around for that. But Duncan, thank you so much for being here as I explore the different projects on the XRPL. I know you've come on several times, and I just thank you for always being willing to come on and share about your project. Tell us about Timmy and how it got started here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, firstly, thank you very much for having me back on. It makes a bit of a change because previous videos we've always talked about the kind of hardcore utility being built by Treasury, the project, and here we're here kind of for an altogether different reason, which is this beloved tortoise on a skateboard named Timmy. And so you've got up, I think, on your screen right now, there is a page on our website which kind of unpicks the whole story about Timmy. But it is so much fun how the whole thing was born out of, which was basically our company secretary and executive, Alan, was speaking to his son about the Treasury project as a whole, the merits of it, how it's performing, like that kind of thing. And at the time, he was a community member, he wasn't part of the team. And either himself or his son commented about the fact that Treasury project was a little bit like a tortoise on a skateboard, like, achieving a great deal, moving at some pace, but perhaps not the kind of lightning pace that everyone really wants to kind of see out of a project building on the ledger or in crypto in general. And unbeknown to them, this very, very talented young lady by the name of Grace, who was 10 years old at the time, heard, tortoise on a skateboard. And went off to her room a few days later, or whenever it was. She basically came to Alan and his son with this. Let me bring it into frame. I don't know
Oh,
if you can
wow.
see it there.
Oh,
There
that's the
we go.
picture inside the picture. Okay, cool.
There we go. And that was the absolute very original drawing. And when they said, what is going on? What is this? And they said, she basically just said, look, I heard you talking about a tortoise on a skateboard. So I draw one. And that's how the whole story sort of came about. And then a lot of things happened along the way. Alan joined part of the team as an executive and company secretary. And can't really remember what the clinching moment was, but the topic of having basically a mascot or someone fun to represent an otherwise quite serious project came about. And the idea of bringing Timmy to life as our mascot was basically born. So you can see there's a visual of how he was digitized, and that was done by another executive of ours, Anthony, and our design at the time. And that was basically him kind of transposing the original drawing that was done by Grace and bringing him into a digital format. And this is really where the whole start of Timmy's journey was born. And it was down to the talents of this young girl by the name of Grace, to whom we're forever grateful for that it all started. A little photo there, if you scroll down, was Alan and myself meeting for the first time, and he flew over from the US to see some of his family, and packed the frame version of the original, which he gave me. And interestingly, take a step back actually, because I missed this bit. It's an important one. Alan and his son decided to basically mint Timmy as kind of like a community sort of like piece. And it was an XS14 Timmy NFT. And obviously, goes without saying, I was the purchaser of it. And it's one that I hold really, really dearly. It's still an XLS14. So it's got that characteristic to it. Okay. And then, yeah, from then on in, we've kind of moved on to mint several collections.
Really interesting. Let me just reshape here for the rest of the video.
Sure.
No, it's a great, heartwarming story. It's I'm sure that encouraged, her as a young artist, that now her idea, not many people can say that. What was it, 10? How
10
old are
years
you?
old, 10
10
years
years
old.
that her stuff became the logo of multinational, uh, blockchain company. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
It is. It's a great starter or a great icebreaker on your CV or in a job interview for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. And so, kind of, if you want me to carry on, move on a little with the story, the very first collection that we brought out, if you scroll down on the page a little bit, you will see there's two dedicated collections a bit further down.
A bit further down. Okay.
You've got them here. So we started off basically with the Timmy Origins collection, and the Origins 001 was basically the truest to the original design that was done. And then there are 19 other designs in that collection, and that was the very, very first collection that was released. And then subsequently to that, we released the Festive Timmy's collection, which sold out. I mean, we were a little late putting that one out. It was very late on the 23rd of December, but they'd all sold by Christmas Eve, which was great. And those are kind of fairly particular collections because in addition to Timmy just simply being a mascot for the Treasury community and something for people to love and to hold, we couldn't help but try and build a little bit of utility and extra kind of something into them. And so the Timmy Origins collection come with 4,000 Utilitex that is dropped to the holder of that Timmy NFT every month,
Wow.
with 5,000 Utilitex going to the 001 holder because it's the OG of the OGs. And then the Festive Timmy's collection gets 2K Utilitex dropped to each of them. So they're kind of both special, and there is going to be future sort of festive or collections that celebrate certain things around the kind of calendar year. But in addition to having that, what all the Timmies have is they have a magic number locked into them. And so that number can be seen in the traits when you navigate to any of your NFT viewers, along with the descriptions and all of the other characteristics that make up that particular Timmy, you know, the skin tone, the shell of the color of the shell, whether he's wearing any headgear, backgrounds, all of those things. But there's this Timmy lucky number that is locked into them.
Oh, and the sweepstakes here?
Exactly.
Okay.
What we did starting in January is we launched a weekly sweepstakes. So as people may or may not know, we invite them to join us if they weren't aware of it. Every Tuesday we do our Treasury talks, and it's a Spaces call at 2 p.m. CST on Twitter, where we cover a number of sort of topics. But what we thought was at the top of each show, every week, we're also going to do a draw. And so we started a prize pot with 10,000 Treasury, which is not nothing. And the idea is that week on week, if we don't draw a winner, the pot increases by 10K Treasury. And for every week when we draw a number that doesn't match to an NFT that has been minted, that someone owns, then the NFT with that number that is yet to be minted gets 5,000 Treasury locked into it for when it gets minted. So on top of getting that NFT, and I'll come on to how people can mint some and how the spin wheel function works in just a sec. But when you mint or acquire an NFT, you can then go and check in the traits for that magic number, compare it against the list that we've got on this page of the running draws that drew a blank. And if it matches, contact us and we'll get that 5K whipped over to you, because it makes sense to kind of continue to build anticipation and yet more reasons to buy a Timmy NFT or win one in a competition or some of our social media engagement. And if you have one, then why not maybe get a second? So that's the idea with that. And
so you can wait, you can literally buy a winning NFT if the NFT is called and no one owns it. Is that what I just heard?
So if the number called on a draw does not match an NFT that is currently that has been minted by someone and is currently owned by someone, the NFT that is yet to be minted and is yet to be owned by someone that has that number in its traits will have 5,000 Treasury locked into it. Now, what you can't do with our collections is you cannot go onto a marketplace, find that specific NFT and go and buy it. because the subsequent collections that we released after the OG collection, the festive ones, are the ones detailed a bit further up. If you scroll up, you will see you've got tiers 1 to tier 6. And the way these operate is these work on a spin function on the marketplace that we have aligned with for this collection, which is XMart. And the way it works is you basically buy a credit to basically spin a wheel on any of these collections that you want from tier 1 to tier 6.
Okay.
And so the NFT that you're going to receive
is
randomized.
Okay.
Exactly. So let's take, in tier 1, where there are 320 Timmy NFTs in there. We've sold on or around a little over, I think 100. There's coming on for about half of those are gone. So half of them remain. There are a few detailed on this page. There are the Timmy's lucky numbers that are locked in are detailed on this page, but obviously you don't know which NFT it matches to. So it is entirely pot luck. There isn't really any way that we know of for people to game the system other than decide to spin multiple times, keep the one that is a winner, and then try and sell the others on secondary market. But to be honest, for 5,000 Treasury,
at the moment,
yes, it is probably not worth people's trouble. Now, these tiers 1 to tier 6, they're priced from 100 XRP up to 250 XRP. The key differentiator are, firstly, the design elements. You can see in tier 1, it's a very pared back, solid background. And as you work through, there's various intricacies built into these collections. But the other key thing is that there is a multiplier that comes into play also. Now, what the multiplier does is on the night of a draw, we're going to draw 4 numbers sequentially. If you match the first 3 numbers to the first 3 numbers of your Timmy, then you have won a share in that pot, because there may be another Timmy NFT that has also matched the first 3, in which case you guys would share the pot. But if you match all 4 numbers, then the multiplier that is determined for each of these tiers kicks in. So tier 1, the cheapest one, there's no multiplier. Tier 2, you get 1.25 times the prize pot, all the way up to tier 6, where you get 2.25 times the prize pot. So if the prize pot's 10K, you match all 4 numbers, you're going to get 25K. And when you move into these kind of limited collections, it gets a lot juicier, because you can see the festive ones, they're at times 3. You see the OGs are times 5. And the Timmy Origins 001, the first of that started everything, is a 10 times multiplier, which is huge. Winnings today, we had a prize pot that worked its way up to 90,000 Treasury, which is already pretty big.
Yeah.
And the winner of that was a Timmy Origins. And so they walked away with 450,000 Treasury, which basically immediately put them on, our kind of rich list rankings in the top tier of rankings, basically.
And how much were those sold for?
They were sold for the festives. I believe they were, off the top of my head, 250 or 350.
Well, you said it was the Timmy Origins that won, so Origins had to be.
No, Origins. I'd have to go back. That is
okay. Still, it's nuts. I mean,
yeah. Let me see. Just whilst we're on here, I might be able to bring it up. But yeah, it was a juicy win for that individual, for the sake of holding that Timmy. And we made a very, very clear point of saying to people, absolutely do not buy this collection or any of these NFTs as anything that may even resemble like an investment proposal. It's a sweepstake. Sweepstake is a variant of effectively running a lottery. The key differentiator between a lottery and a sweepstake is, with sweepstakes, you don't necessarily have to make a purchase to be able to participate. And the way that works with us is, if you're active with us on socials, participate, then basically you have the chance to pick up a Timmy free of charge. So we have given away quite a few, through the course of our Treasury talks, online social media engagements, like that kind of thing. But we absolutely do not. We want people to pick up a Timmy because A, they're super cute. B, there's quite a lot of fun built behind it. And it's only the information that we've released kind of like today. And C is kind of like their sort of badge that they can hold in honor to say that they're supporter of Treasury.
Okay, I have a quick question on that because now you've just dangled this huge, like, this person won with a Timmy Origins 90,000 10x whatever.
Yeah.
Dear God, we hear things in crypto all the time, but of course that's probably not happening anywhere near weekly, monthly, or even probably yearly. But and then you just said, okay, well, this is a sweepstakes. If you're a participating community member, you have the ability, or the possibility, should I say, of being awarded a Timmy token for being a loyal community member. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Timmy NFTs. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we are not giving them out, willy nilly. Just to give people a few statistics so that we know, we're roughly now. So the OGs minted out, sold out very quickly. The festives sold out very quickly. They've got the added utility built in. Tiers 1 to tier 6, they become more valuable as you work up. Tier 6 is now the most valuable Timmy NFT currently available for people to purchase, and they're at 80% sold out. They also reduce in circulation as you work your way down the tiers. So there's far more tier 1s than there are sort of tier 6s.
Okay.
So we are at about 25% of our total mint across all of the collections kind of combined.
Sorry, what was that last part?
So we are roughly at present, we are standing at about 25% of all Timmys currently available that are basically in circulations that have been spinned and are in someone's ownership at present.
So that means 75% are currently left in the pools between tier 1 and tier 6 for someone to go and pick up, or for y'all to give away.
Correct.
And on that, I would love to see on your website how many are of each collection, if that's possible somehow. Maybe monthly,
you've got it. You've got it a bit further up on the page.
Oh, I do? Okay. Wait, where was that?
Keep scrolling up.
96 total.
There we go.
36.
And
okay.
the price points for each of them. That's it.
Interesting. Okay.
So there's only 7 of the tier 6s left. And tier 6, I mean, what people can do when they're on our site is if you click onto the actual Timmy, it will bring up the XSmart page, and we can show people how it looks. So basically, step 1 is you connect the wallet at the top, like you do with most sites. Step 2 is you buy a spin here, so it tells you that this spin will cost you 250 XRP. So you click there, you sign the transaction, you spend your 250 XRP, you then come back, and underneath your beautiful golden Timmy there, you see that button that's blurred out. That will become live, and it will give you 1 spin, and it literally spins, and you don't know which one you're going to land on. But if you do click on view collection items up at the top there, just above the little description, just there, people will be able to see the sort of cool design. See, look, there's a little Timmy there with diamond hands. There's the diamond encrusted shells. So these are the ones where we kind of pimped him up like a pretty big deal. And so in terms of the tiered Timmys, these are currently the most valuable on the market because they're the ones of those that are available that are going to give you the biggest multiplier. And the price reflects that, because you can get a tier 1 for just 100 XRP, whereas these are going to cost you 250.
Wow. Okay. Really interesting. That does help us understand like what's left. And so, but I'm sorry, I got to go back because like you didn't necessarily answer my question about the free Timmys.
Yeah.
So like, what is a community member should they expect? Should they expect one might be given out a month?
It is completely ad hoc. So we did, to give you an idea, we did a week-long campaign with Timmys, and we gave away a tier 1 Timmy to everybody that was currently owning any of our Timmy NFTs. So anybody that held, even if you held just a tier 1, you were dropped another tier 1 Timmy. And we just did that as an on the spot, unannounced, just thank you to everybody that picked up a Timmy somewhere along the way. We've also done kind of like a little flash sale where if people buy one or buy two, they'll get another one added for nothing as well. And then otherwise, largely the Timmys have been given away. There hasn't really been a cadence per month because we're not legally obligated to do that. What we absolutely have to do to fulfill the sweepstake criteria is ensure there are means for people to pick them up without having to spend money, because otherwise it is technically a lottery. So of all the ones in circulation, probably on around all of the ones that have been minted and sold to date, probably around 5 to 10% of them have been given away. And so the best thing for people who either can't afford one or are hoping to get lucky and pick one up as a community incentive, a prize or whatever, is they just need to keep an eye on our socials, be right place, right time, or alternatively, turn to the marketplace and pick one up that way.
But in terms of being like, what are you looking for? Like, if you're going to reward these things out, obviously it seems like the first ones came from you being generous to those who found value in Timmy in the first place.
Yeah.
And, who are people and individuals that are finding value in the Treasury project somehow. Is that the pattern that you are trying to encourage, or will someone just be given one randomly at a Twitter Space event, or are there other contests like,
Absolutely. So we have done some free to play just for fun poker nights.
Okay.
So people are participating in the poker night and we chuck some Timmies into the prize pool. We occasionally, when we do our Twitter spaces, instead of having guests or hosting a roundtable discussion in our Treasury talks, we do an actual project update on Treasury. We tend to slip in one of Hales's notorious kind of Treasury talks quizzes. And there's always a couple of Timmies that are going to be thrown at people there if people are the quickest person to request the mic and get the answer correctly. So I can't give you set criteria. The point is we are giving some away.
And I'm just trying to give people an idea of what to look for.
Yeah. And do you know what? If someone comes forward in the community and makes some kind of contribution that we feel worthwhile enough, then in addition to having tokens that we could drop people, we also have like arguably the cutest NFT on the XRP ledger, who is also on a skateboard. I mean, does it get any better than that? And we have him to give people. So that's the kind of general vibes. Is we have not set hard and fast rules on that, but absolutely, the more switched on people are to, it goes to show with any other project. If you are invested in something, the onus is on you also to stay abreast of what happenings are going on there. We are absolutely not against the idea of doing collaborations with some other projects also, where we may do a kind of swapsies on a whitelist with something that they may have coming up. So there is any number of things that we can do. And actually, we're quite excited about the fact that we've only got 25% of them currently in circulation, because there's a lot more to Timmy's story that is going to unravel as we go along. So Timmy is not one of those things that we are genuinely looking to basically mint out in 24 hours. We're not looking to create headlines in that way. He's on this kind of, this journey. He may even age as we go along. He may even get a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Who knows?
I'm still looking for a Tammy, but yes.
Yeah, Timmy and Tammy. That's it.
But now I have to turn on my critical side and ask some harder questions, because especially when you talked about someone with a Timmy Origins winning times 10, with a 90,000 prize pot. How are you sustaining that, and how can you, because if someone gets into this Timmy thing and they're like, man, it's just be a part of the community, it is a chance. And so, but as opposed to having a chance versus no chance, how do you plan to sustain that?
Yeah. So I guess the threat to our token price by people, which is maybe what you're alluding to, by people winning big prize pots and then basically going and dumping it or selling a proportion of it to profit from.
Or just you having enough Utilitex, which I know is not black hold, or
Correct.
Treasury to be able to give out. If someone
Yeah.
hits, if someone has two Timmys and they both get called in successive months, is that all the Treasury you have? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have, so Treasury, we are sitting at on around 38 to 40 million that is yet to go into
okay.
circulation. The reason for that vast amount that is not in circulation on a black hole token is because we do the Treasury Academies rewards for people who do the learning through our Learn to Earn platform. And
Yeah.
that's why we've got a large withheld supply. At this kind of rate, and at the win rate that we've predicted through the odds of playing this sort of game, we are very comfortable that we're not going to run any major risks of kind of putting the project under pressure, the token price under pressure, or anything else for that matter. Statistics to date: we had a win in March, we had a win in May, and we've just had a win in June. So the win in June, I believe, is yet to be updated on there.
Okay.
And the first one, it was lovely to see that the first win was a massive one, but the other two wins were 100k and 110k. It's still not nothing. For anybody that's curious, go onto the DEX and see what 100,000 Treasury would cost you, or what you could sell it for. It's not nothing. But the nice thing with this is that predominantly it is Treasury supporters who are holding Timmy NFTs. And so they also already hold Treasury basically in their wallet. And what this is doing is bolstering their holdings and propelling them up the rich list and everything else. So we are comfortable with how it runs. We did also say to people that provisionally the Timmy Lucky Numbers draw is going to run until the end of this current year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the opportunity for us to kind of assess and decide, do we want to run another season? Do we want to do something differently? That's the whole kind of like premise of it. So there's a real good degree of flexibility built into Timmy, because Timmy's got his own story, and we need to see what happens with him.
Okay. Well, my next question in the same vein is,
Yeah.
All plans are great until something happens. If for whatever reason you run out of Treasury, you'll never run out of Utilitex.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone who's watching, will Timmy always have the possibility of wins in the ecosystem, or if something were to happen? We can't figure that out, but
there's things in the future that we can't foresee, and that's why we were careful by stipulating that the lucky numbers draw at present is scheduled to run until the end of this year.
okay.
And what we're not going to do is we're not going to commit to running the Timmy Lucky Numbers draw for the next 5 years, because who knows what the space is going to look like, what regulations are going to look like, or anything like that. If we come up against regulatory constraints that we need to work with and abide by, then we are going to have to do something to circumvent that issue. The idea is not to leave people out of pocket, but is also why we stipulate very clearly anytime we engage with people over the idea of Timmy, that ultimately Timmy is a mascot for people to love and to hold and to be proud to have in their wallet. That should be their primary reason for buying it. People need to have a look. There's you need to match 3 numbers between 0 and 9 in the exact order to basically earn a share of the pot. You need to match 4 numbers consecutively in the right order for the multiplier to kick in. We'll leave people to work out like those odds. They're much better than winning, the national lottery. But also the prize pot is nowhere near the national lottery. So
and the national lottery is, of course, going to go on for forever, which is where I guess I was not understanding that this was only for this year. But as far as you're aware, are you looking to continue it in the future, provided everything stays the same in the market?
There's no reason for us not to.
Okay,
Yeah,
I just want to make sure because
yeah,
people that are considering this or might now be saying, "Well, oh, it's only this year. It's June,"
yeah,
and I want to be able to give them those answers. So,
yeah,
okay, cool.
absolutely. Um, so, and obviously the drops that we're doing for the OG set and the Christmas set, that will continue. And yes, that's quite substantial drops. Two K Utilitex for the festive Timmies every month. But then, as you know, because you're very kind to cover the whole rewards program that we released at the start of that went live at the start of this year, we drop Utilitex to holders of Treasury every single day
Yep.
based on their holdings. And, our token price has managed to maintain that very comfortably. And it isn't a set of 20 Timmy NFTs with a locked in 2K once a month that is going to put considerable pressure on it. So, whilst this is ultimately a lovely story that we're building a bit of fun and community engagement on top of, because the rest of what we do is quite serious.
Hmm.
That does not mean that we haven't given every aspect of Timmy, his journey, the utility locked in a great deal of thought, so that it doesn't come and cause any problems for the projects, the tokens, buy or sell pressure, and everything else in between.
Gotcha. So Timmy's been well thought out within your plans long term, and whatever happens, Timmy will be around, I'm guessing.
Well, we would like to think Timmy will be around for as long as the Treasury project. Who knows? He might even outlive us. But
Well, his
Timmy,
NFTs on the blockchain, I'm
Tim,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Timmy is here to stay, and we have so many ideas about what we're looking to do with Timmy. There's nothing set in stone, so don't want to get people, jumping up and down. But there's talks of a Timmy game. There's
Hmm.
things to do with like collectibles around Timmy. There's a number of things that could be done with a really cute character like this. There's no reason why he can play a part in potentially a version of Academy that might be geared to young individuals. He's a really cute little cartoon character,
Yep.
and he could be a very very good way to pass on some education and other bits and pieces. So there is a lot to him. We always welcome any thoughts, ideas from our community also. So I'm really really excited. We have not got a roadmap for Timmy because Timmy is on a skateboard. He might hit a bump in the road. He might go up a ramp and really take off. We really have no idea. We know what we know, but there's lots and lots of things that have yet to be explored with him.
Okay. Well, we've covered a lot about Timmy, and I'm sure everyone's
Yep,
waiting for the news about what's new about Timmy.
that's it.
So where would you like me to go there? Would you like me to bring up or
So
show, or do you want to go and talk about it for a second? What's
yeah,
new
if
with
I if
Timmy?
I so if I just drop in and say for those that have been looking on our socials, we've been hinting at a couple of things. Um, this evening, what we have done is we have minted and we have burnt 28 tier 2 Timmy NFTs. Now, why on earth, after going to all the trouble of having them designed and created and ready for people to mint, have we gone and done that? The reason for that is because of the 4 number kind of structure and not wanting duplicate winners of the pot where the multipliers included. We are
So I'm just looking for the ones that were
at
destroyed or
the kind
whatever,
of
if they're there.
maximum amount of Timmy NFTs that we can have. Yeah, you won't see them there. So the only thing you will
Okay.
see if you scroll up to the top. In fact, even if you come back to, actually, no, if you have a look here, it does say, interestingly, it hasn't updated yet. It says items 240, and that actually should have reduced by 28. It should be saying 212. So there's a bit of a lag there
Okay.
because I've got a few left to burn still. But in burning them, what we are doing is we are freeing up that all important Timmy Lucky Numbers draw number to lock into the trades of something else.
Hmm.
And the something else is that we thought we would do something fun to celebrate a very specific date in the US calendar that is coming up. Any guesses?
The only day I have off work is the 4th, so which
There
is
we
when I
go.
guess we're gonna release this on the day.
Is that how you work it by? Is what days you have off from
Well,
work?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
typically we the biggest days for the biggest reasons that have the most impact. We want people to remember, yeah, we give them the day off. So
absolutely. So
I
there we
wish there
go.
were, I wish there was more, but you know.
Absolutely. So there we go. So we are doing something to celebrate the 4th of July. Now, it is something that for marketing purposes, people jump on the bandwagon every year. There's every brand that is doing something like that. As people would detect from my accent, I'm not American, but a couple of people
What?
on the team are, and a lot of our community is based in the US. And the idea with these additional collections that we're going to be bringing out, like the OGs and like the Festives, is that they celebrate a number of occasions around the world. And so we thought the 4th of July would be a really good one. Now, what we have not done is just done a lot of Timmy's holding the US flag and go, hey, 4th of July, that's it. Sell it for 250 XRP and go on with our business. Because we recognize that the NFT space on the XRP ledger right now has not got the buoyancy that a lot of people, creators wish it had. We're under no illusion that there aren't kind of more, at least for now, imminently more collectible and valuable kind of NFTs in this space. So we wanted to do a lot more than just issue a 28 piece of Timmy holding a flag. And so we came up with a couple of ideas. And by we, I need to say full credit to Alan, who is the mastermind behind this idea. The idea behind the collections is the 4th of July Timmy collection, and there are going to be 28 pieces in it. And the idea is to celebrate every single iteration of the US flag through history. Now, for those that know their trivia, there are actually only 27 official flags released, with the first one in 1777. And the very last one, which is the one that you're still waving today, which was released in 1960, when Hawaii joined. And that is the flag that is still current today. So maybe now, do you want to show a few photos? Because I haven't looked at him enough, and he is super cute.
Of the Timmys, yeah, we
Of
can
the
show them.
Timmys, yeah.
One second. All right, there's a lot of Timmy going on here. We got to make
There
us
we
shrink
go.
here a bit.
That's
I'll put us in
cool.
between the Timmys.
That's cool. So whilst you're getting that reframed, something that we covered in our Treasury talk space is that our designer Anthony, who digitized the original version, has actually stepped down from our project. And initially, in amongst everything, we were thinking, oh my God, who is going to take on the work of developing Timmy? And we found a super talented designer who basically rolled with the original design. We said we want to change postures. We don't want him on his skateboard life forever. And we want to bring something a little bit fresh to it. We gave a pitch of what we wanted to do. And this is the fruits of our current Timmy NFT designers work. And I think personally, obviously I'm biased, but I think they are awesome. I'm loving seeing him holding his skateboard rather than being kind of sat on it with one leg. Love his smile, love the vibrancy in the colors. There's a real key differentiator. And obviously this set being the 4th of July, you can see a particular type of architecture in the background. And then obviously from each Timmy here, there is a very subtle difference. So without remembering exactly off the top of my head, there was 13 stripes to the flag, and then it went to 15 before, I believe, reverting back to 13. So there's some subtleties there. And then the key differentiator is in the number of stars that obviously has varied throughout the years in the 27 instances that were officially flown. And so that is the idea. So every Timmy NFT is going to have the date range. It's going to have some really fun bits of actual trivia built into the metadata of the NFT. So when people click on it and read the description, you're going to find out a bit more about like that flag, the history behind it, what states joined that prompted that new flag. So, and what we really, really love is almost kind of inadvertently with our passion for education and everything we do through the Treasury Academy. We're actually bringing Timmy closer to that in using him to kind of give little tidbits of education and trivia also. So yeah, this is our set.
So I have to ask, you said you did this because most of your, or a good part of your team is in the US, and okay. I was gonna
So
say,
no, couple of people in the US, but also we know that a lot of our community
oh,
are
okay.
US based.
Oh, okay.
So we
Know your
appreciate
market, right?
that. Yeah, exactly. We appreciate that there's some people who'd be like, I have zero interest in Fourth of July,
Yeah.
which is totally fine. And there are other events in the calendar. We are going to work really, really hard that we represent, different nations, different locations, different key events around the world. And we use Timmy in the collections to kind of reflect that and celebrate that. But there was, having had a new designer, we had this event on the doorstep, and it was too good opportunity for us to pass by.
Gotcha. Well, I appreciate that you're getting rid of, like, you're not messing with the game mechanics of and you're getting rid of 28 to replace these. So that's really
Correct.
cool. But and I being American, I can appreciate this to a degree, and obviously this goes towards the educational aspect that you all tried to promote with Academy, and it goes along
Correct.
that aligns very nicely. What I find it kind of ironic though is that, like, you if I remember your last Twitter space, you're trying to move the company out of the US, but you're promoting it, or not promoting, you recognizing the US holiday as you're doing it. So it's kind of
Yeah, there is the irony is not lost there. I can
okay.
definitely see that. But in a few months' time, were we to do something about an event in the UK or
Mhm.
somewhere else around the world, it will
Yeah.
mean something. To the thing to bear in mind is that the community of people interested in Treasury is worldwide. It's a
Yep.
worldwide audience. So, okay, we've gone the shameless route of probably targeting what is our largest kind of audience and bring an NFT that might speak to them. We
Mhm.
have many, many people who are backing us, out of Australia and the Philippines and across Europe.
Yep.
They're going to have no interest in this, but future collections they will. But definitely the irony, given that we are currently considering a sort of a retreat in where Treasury as a company is based from a jurisdiction point of view, right when we're bringing out this collection is
That's kind of funny.
a funny one for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, just I had to point that out. I'm like,
No, no,
the
no,
irony
no.
of it is funny.
I love it, and that's
Um,
why it's great being on these calls with you because you don't miss a trick. So,
yes. um,
so yeah,
well, I mean, you saw that hasn't been solidified to my understanding, that even though it's something you're targeting to do, because hopefully the case will end and maybe things will get a lot clearer sooner. So who knows? One can
who
only
knows?
hope, right?
Exactly.
But that being said, I think this is a cool thing to do. Is there any additional utility to these NFTs? Because obviously you went through the trouble of deleting or getting rid of other NFTs and burning them to create this collection. So
Yeah.
what's special about them?
So this collection is going to have the same multiplier as the festive. So we're not going to match the multiplier and the kind of additional utility of the OG, because the OG set is and
Yeah.
always will realistically be the most valuable set. It was the first one, and it makes sense to honor them in that sense.
Yeah.
But we are going to be matching the metrics of the Christmas collection, which was a festive edition. And so that is going to be a 3 times multiplier on the pot. And it is also going to get 2K Utilitex dropped to each of the holders like monthly. But one of the things that we're also doing with
Wow.
this collection is we're bringing out some clearer metrics in what is going on with the proceeds of the sales of these NFTs. And I wanted to touch on that now, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Where do I need to go? Sorry, real quick. Where do I
so
need to
there's
go then?
there's nowhere. Let's keep our eyes on these
Okay.
beautiful
Okay.
Timmies. This is just information to feed, and it will be available on our site probably by the time this video has gone live
Okay.
for people to go and dive into. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to make clear what the payments are to the artist for the collections, what the payment and what are we doing with the rest of the money. And so the way the proceeds of the sales of these NFTs are going to work is that moving forwards, 8% from the sales of these NFTs are going to go to the artist that we've got who has worked on the NFTs. One new addition, and something that in hindsight probably should have happened a bit sooner, but we're always learning and growing in this space, is that moving forward, 7% from the sales of all of the Timmy NFTs that we do is going to go towards Grace's college fund.
Wow.
Because Grace, who's now, she'll be 11, or maybe, yeah, she'll be 11 now. Eventually is going to go on to higher education. That doesn't cost nothing. And we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So up until now, the only contributions to Grace's college fund has been when people have mistakenly used the word turtle instead of tortoise. Within our community, we have a wallet address, and they're supposed to drop basically a kind of fine XRP payment into her,
like a swear jar.
exactly. And that really isn't growing for the amount of times people have used the wrong term for it. It is nowhere near where we'd like it to be. So basically 7% of the sales of the Timmy NFTs are going to go to Grace's college fund. And we'd like to see through subsequent Timmy NFT collections that we release that there'll be a good contribution towards whatever it is that she decides to do to better herself.
Well, hopefully that'll that college fund will turn it into a retirement fund and we'll all be, who knows. But yeah.
Exactly. And who knows, what XRP is going to do and what that might look like,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Well, that's really
so
cool.
that's the idea. And then there's a new thing that we're doing, which is, again, going back to the idea that NFT sets are, for the most part, minting out if either the project behind it has got absolutely huge, almost cult-like following and traction, or they're practically being given away. Now, we appreciate that there are far more expensive or higher priced NFTs available on the XRP ledger, but we also recognize that the price point that we're at do not necessarily make them affordable to everybody. So what we want to do is we also want to make sure that we're making meaningful contributions as and where we can. And this is where we would like to announce that basically 10% from the sales of these NFTs are going to be dropped to a charity that we have appointed for this specific collection. And I think you had a screen up on them.
I'll bring it up. You said 10% though?
10%. That's
okay.
right.
Let me bring that up real quick.
So there we go. So the appointed collection, the appointed charity that we've decided for this collection is this awesome foundation called the Folded Flag Foundation. And it is beautiful because what they have for kind of sole purpose is helping in funding the education of people who have been left behind by fallen veterans, effectively. So they have a program where they will help the widow of the fallen veteran to basically get an education if they haven't had one. So it might have been a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home mum while the other one went off to fight for their country to never come back, and now they're facing basically financial hardship. Education could be a means for them to sustain themselves, and Folded Flag Foundation are committing to help those individuals. They're also helping the children of fallen veterans continue on their education course, which otherwise may potentially hit real hurdles on that journey due to the fact that maybe one of the major contributors to the family's finances is no longer sadly around to be able to do that. And we really obviously wanted a charity that was where there was a hook and a tie into the flag, because that's what we built the whole kind of collection around. And what we absolutely love with this is that, again, we seem to constantly being drawn to this willingness and this want on our part to basically participate in education. And whilst in this case, we're not in any way involved in the education, what we're going to be doing is simply dropping a donation to this as our appointed charity for this collection. But they are enabling the education of people similarly to, so we kind of saw some parallels there with what we are doing with academies. So we absolutely could not have found a more fitting cause to basically support with some of the proceeds from the sale of this collection.
Okay, couple questions on this, because there's some anytime I hear about donations to charity and different stuff, I always want to make sure that those things happen, obviously. So
Absolutely.
is the XRP going to be made to dollars or another fiat to the charity, or how are they taking it?
So that will be that hasn't been decided because we need to speak to them about how they wish to receive it. It
Okay.
is more likely than not that they may not have an XRP
Wallet,
address
yeah.
and wallet, in which case we will have to basically off ramp it into US dollars and send it in that way. But regardless of how we do it, because this is another big chapter for Timmy and the story, and collaborations and good causes and everything that is positive, which we want to be surrounding around the whole evolution of Timmy. It will be very, very clearly documented on our website. So at the time, we will either put if it's done on through the ledger, then we will be able to just post the transaction hash. But the likelihood is there may have to be an off ramp, and it will be done by way of a screenshot of the transaction confirmation being sent to them as and when it is done, basically.
Or receipts, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's in fiat. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
I love that commitment. I really appreciate that. And this is one of the things that whenever you told me about this, I was extremely excited about Timmy, and you're in the future. So if I guess I'm not trying to also figure out, should the owners of Timmy, if they're supporting this ecosystem and these NFTs, expect that the future of Timmy will be, you're going to be replicating and doing similar things like this again, or releasing collections and donation to charity, the Grace Fund, and the artist? Are those going to maintain, or?
So the artist is always going to get paid. It's a
Okay.
given. We always pay people for basically for the work that they do. They've put in the hard work. They've in fact already been paid. They won't be paid retrospectively from the proceeds.
Okay.
They delivered the collection. They've now been paid for it. But it amounts to on or around that sort of figure. Grace's contribution is something we've agreed as a team to do on an ongoing basis. So that is going to be set. And I would personally like to be able to see some good cause represented with every collection that we release.
Has not been confirmed yet, though, right?
It's just that we can't think of a scenario where we couldn't make that work. But if there was one, we wouldn't necessarily want to be locked into a niche. We also don't necessarily want to be locked in to this 10% figure, because if there was something that was, I don't know, time sensitive enough, or if the kind of metrics behind that collection were different, or say we were doing it in collaboration with someone else, those kind of figures may basically change quite drastically. So we need to stay kind of flexible and fluid on those percentages, but we absolutely recognize that there is an opportunity here to deliver a community mascot for people to love and to hold, the bit of fun with a Timmy Lucky Numbers draw, Timmy also being a card in your wallet that proves a sort of membership of sorts. You're a bona fide member of the Treasury community, and in fact in our Discord we have got a role which is called the Timmy Owners Club, which if you hold a Timmy, you can apply to verify, and you become a member of that. But then beyond that, the contributions is something that we are super excited to be able to do. And so don't see a reason why we couldn't, but we haven't set that in stone, so to speak, until we've at least got one more collection under the belt.
Okay, so I didn't mean to detract from you. So we've got 8%, 10%, and what
7.
else? 7.
7.
Okay, so it leaves a lot of
right.
percent left. So what's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we make no qualms of the fact that we are a project that is entirely self-funded, that we have never sold any tokens, and a project does not run on thin air. So that is the simple, brutal, honest truth about it.
Yeah.
is we're delivering something. It will mean something to some, nothing to others. And yeah, and that is where we wanted to kind of create that win-win scenario. So it
Okay.
may just be that we could be more generous towards the charity if that creates more traction. But then we also need to strike a balance because, like we said, running a project without any backing or funding,
Yeah.
the money needs to come from somewhere.
At the moment,
So
at least. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Which is
Um,
again, we don't set it in stone. It means that we can pivot. And if the financial situation with a lot of things that we're working on means that we do not need to sell NFTs to do certain funding aspects, then we could be far more generous.
awesome. I mean, it's good to see Treasury recognizing that, and putting its people that are creating the project to a degree out there. And like you said, you've never sold any of the tokens. I'm sure that what you will be getting back will somehow go into the creation of new features and stuff for your project, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely. I
it's
mean,
funding development.
we're not paying ourselves. We are still a team of staff that have basically been working for nothing. We are still, in the grand scheme of things, even though we're one of the original projects on the XRP ledger, one of them,
Yeah.
we are still so young in this journey. So what we are not doing is putting out shamelessly putting out collection after collection to line our pockets and run away with. The vast majority of the proceeds, minus the small expenses incurred for professional fees and things like that, are still sat in our wallet.
Okay. Well, I mean, in some ways that makes me sad for you guys. Appreciate all that you all are doing for the project, obviously. And I would still hope that, within the systems that maybe a portion of that could go to rewarding those that have served on the team so long,
Yeah,
because y'all I mean, it's no one wants to see the people on the project, in Lambos and flying on personal jets when the people that, are funding the not funding the project but are participating in the tokens and whatnot are not necessarily doing the same. But at the same time,
absolutely.
y'all should be getting something out of it,
Yeah,
working.
no, absolutely, and it will come, and we are not worried. What we would like to see above all is in a space, maybe not so much on the XRP ledger, although there are some big movers and shakers in the NFT space who are doing it entirely for their own kind of profits,
Yeah.
kind of motivations. But you move out into sort of the Ethereum world, and you look at the kind of daily volumes that are sold. And what we would like to see is, whilst we are by no means the first, I'm sure, to add an additional kind of charitable contribution from the sales, we would like to see this be far more commonplace and far more widespread. And if every collection sold were to have a little bit of a charity contribution, not only could it do a great deal of good to a great deal of good causes, for all of whom are probably as worthy as the next, but also it's an opportunity to get eyes on the ledger.
Yep.
There are, down the line, who knows, we may get a nod from the people at Folded Flag, or it may come up in conversation that may get some people interested in the XRP ledger that otherwise could be going around about their business and have never heard of it. So it's a win-win as far as we're concerned. We really like to see and hope that other projects kind of follow suit.
No, I love to see projects be involved with charities. And then of course, the next layer is making sure they're good charities. I have no idea about this one, but
Yeah.
I'm always a little bit skeptical about nonprofits myself. But that,
Yeah.
still the effort being there is amazing, and
Mm.
I can't wish this enough luck.
Thank
That
you.
being said, this is releasing on Tuesday, and probably Tuesday morning. And I want to encourage everyone to, if you have listened through this part, we've mentioned most things, but there's also going to be some things that are still left for the Treasury space this afternoon, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, by the time people are listening to this, it will be on or around Tuesday, like you mentioned. And we have our regular Treasury Talk space, which is coming up at 2 p.m. CST today. So, if that time is not passed by the time you are diving into JT's video, please come onto our socials, set a reminder, and join us, because we'll be dropping a few bits of additional information. That is also the time when the collection is going to be going live, as we are on the Spaces call. So there will be nothing available before then. And just a little note on how these are being sold. They are going to go up with a price tag of 250 XRP, as have done the festive Timmies. But what we are doing is we are utilizing the full capabilities of the blockchain as it currently stands, and the opportunity for basically people to put offers in for the NFTs. And what we are giving people is a window up until 2 p.m. CST on Saturday, the 1st of July, to have a good look at the collection without them getting snapped up by someone. So, you have that kind of period to dive in, to read the trivia, to maybe identify the one from your home state joining, and to just enjoy the experience. And if you decide to put one, you're going to be able to go on any NFT Explorer and look at the current offers that are there. And we will be accepting the highest bid on or above 250 XRP for every NFT when it closes on the 1st of June, Saturday at 2 p.m. CST. So it may just be that, who knows? Who knows what is going to happen? The OG sold out in a ridiculous amount of time. The OG 001 went to auction, and that fetched a really good chunk of XRP. The festive Timmy's sold out in 24 hours. These are the similar sort of like collections, but rather than do kind of a flash sale, we're giving people the time to dive into collection, learn from the trivia, and position themselves if they choose to get one by putting in an offer.
Okay, so you're going to mint them ahead of time. You mentioned June 1st. It's June 24th. So
sorry, July 1st.
July 1st. Okay. So
my apologies.
But this announcement is coming on 1 second.
Yeah. So if people are watching this when it's released, it will be the 27th of June today. It'll be Tuesday the 27th. They're going to go live during our Spaces call, and we are going to be accepting offers from people. So there won't be the option to buy it on the marketplace. There'll be the option to put an offer in for it.
Okay.
You can click on the NFT, look at any offers that are there, decide what offer you want to put in, put your offer in, and then basically submit it. And
so
on the 1st
to July 1st. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, not June, because obviously
we're
wizards, but we're not that.
Okay.
So yeah, July 1st, 2 p.m. CST, we will run through every NFT and we will pick the top offer that has been put for each of the NFTs. And not to forget, there is that all-important 28th NFT in an otherwise predictable 27 NFT set, which is the 27 instances of the flag that were released officially. So there is a 28th one that we will leave to the community to discover when the collection goes live.
Okay, cool. So that special 28th one. Well, appreciate you stopping by and sharing all this. I encourage everyone to go out to the space and to go check out those NFTs. I'm really excited to see, if it's an auction, how much y'all will get for all of these Timmies to go to, both the Grace Fund as well as the, what do you call it, to the charity,
the artist and the charity.
Yeah. So super excited there for all of that. And I appreciate you using, me, obviously, as I'm trying to share about other projects on the XRPL. This is not a paid promotion. Really appreciate you coming out and talking about it. And I hope other projects that are building on the XRPL will come out as well. But
yeah, absolutely. We've been doing our bit to spread the word, because you've been instrumental with us in kind of breaking things down. It's been great. We honestly feel like you've shared the journey, with us, with everything we're doing at Treasury. So thank you.
No, it's been great. I'm super excited to see where Treasury goes, and especially after Clarity. I cannot wait for y'all's project after Clarity. I can't say it enough.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for joining me, Duncan. I'm JTXRP. None of this is tax advice or financial advice, and please always make sure you reach out to a financial advisor if you need that stuff. I am not one. This is purely for educational and entertainment, but we're out.